Hello, horror fans. Welcome back to the Mind's Eye Inquisition. This is my precaution for the movie that we have on tap for today, which is Weapons. This is very hotly anticipated. I, for one, am happy that it has been getting good to great buzz. Um, Man, this has been one lackluster year for horror, so I'm really hoping for this one. So let's jump right in. One of the things that I like about the film, from what we've seen from the trailer, is that it has something. The fact that the kids, seemingly disappear, not just disappear, but vanish into the night, gleefully so. It has something of a Pied Piper feel to it. You know what I mean? So I am wondering if inspiration is taken from that. I very much like the mystique within the film. You don't know what's going on. Nothing really gets spoiled for it. So I very much applaud the handlers of this film for being able to deliver on not just that mystique, but a mood of dread. They're keeping things pretty close to the chest with the marketing, which, hey, I absolutely applaud because, I mean, do you really need me, of all people, to tell you how many times everything great about a movie you basically see in the trailers? I mean, that's been the case with Hollywood, so with Hollywood films. I'm gonna say for a quarter century now, but I very much like that. You just know that kids are disappearing, that the parents are up in arms, but you don't know what the cause of it is and what that means for the town that seemingly is gripped within this paranoia and borderline mania. And this film fits nicely into the genre of films that don't really get talked about much, which is killer kid movies. You have films like The Orphan, The Children, Citadel, Children of the Corn, of course. So I don't know if it is the children, because obviously you have 20 plus kids that disappear. I'm not sure if it is the children doing the murder and mayhem, but this certainly, from what I'm hearing, the film is gory, which is curious. Not necessarily curious because the trailers don't give away too much. There is one rather alarming scene with Benedict Wong that I'm not sure if his eyelids are cut off or is his over his eyes are just bulging out of his head. But I found that to be peculiar. So, yeah, I'm trying to keep away from sport. I always make sure to limit my watch of any type of reviews before I do these previews because I don't want anything spoiled for me. But oddly enough, this film has been described possessing not just gore but moments of comedy, which I thought was interesting. You don't get that at all from what you see in the previews, but I guess it'll be a wait and see. One thing I did want to mention is that I usually don't go into this, but I feel the need to mention the talent both in front of and behind the camera. So the leading lady of this film is Julia Garner, which I didn't think much of her in the first time that I saw her in a film earlier this year, which I'll get to in a moment. But she really does have a unique look to her. And one thing I did note previously that in the film that I had previously seen her in that comes into full focus now, I applaud that she really can pull off this vulnerable side to her, which I think, considering that she plays the teacher in this movie who gets blamed and questioned for the disappearance of the children, I very much am appreciative of actors who know how to act, considering that's seemingly a lost art nowadays with the youth movement and whatnot. But for me, I really think that it needs to be applauded that when she's like giving her speech in a seemingly a high school gymnasium or city hall in front of other parents, she seems very she displays a level of vulnerability, which to me only adds to the horror. While we often believe that the scare factor for horror films only exclusively comes from the monster itself. It is imperative for the actors, the survivors, the human characters to display moments of vulnerability and that fear factor. She speaks, and this is in the trailers, she speaks to the parents saying that she wants to know what's going on as badly as they do, which you can only imagine in the movie will only draw the ire of the parents and make her seem much more like a someone just caught, and not just caught in the crosshairs, but of whatever malevolence is going on. Seemingly, she Julia Garner's character, the teacher, will be at the mercy of the torches and pitchforks from the parents and the grown-ups. So for her, this hopefully will be a movie that will deliver, because the other two that she's done this year haven't, and that would be Wolfman, which began the year, that Blumhouse piece of crap, and the recent Fantastic Four movie where she plays the Silver Surfer. So I'm hoping that this one is able to, get her career on track in terms of cinema. I haven't seen her in too many other movies. I don't know. I think she's part of a popular show, but this year hasn't been kind to her when it comes to her pursuits in cinema. Now, who else is also starring in this movie is Josh Brolin, and I'm a big fan of his. I think that he's someone that has gravitas and presence. I believe he plays the the chief of police who's investigating what's going on. And he could very well be one of the parents. So I'm curious as to see how you'll have that juxtaposition. Someone who is on the receiving end of the treatment, the Julia Garner teacher character, and someone who's actively in the investigation, trying to find out what is going on here. So those are the two in front of the camera. Now, as far as behind the camera, we have seemingly a director on the rise, Zach Kreger. So one thing that's being lauded with this movie is that he is the previous director of Barbarian. I didn't see it, wasn't my cup of tea, but I'm hoping, hey, if he's a new face on the scene and he has talent, like genuine talent, not just that he's being propped up like something great that the rest of us need to get behind, but he has genuine creativity. I'm all for any new faces on the scene. Now, additionally, I'm hoping for this movie's success because Zach Kreger is the director who's been tapped to direct the new Resident Evil reboot. So for me, there's a lot riding on this film. The cinematic career of Julia Garner, because I'm hoping it's not just a third strikeout for her. The directing talents of Zach Kreger, and like I said, 2025 has been an abysmal year when it comes to horror. And to be honest, I've been very disappointed this year when I try to have any expectations. For instance, see my aftershock reaction to the film The Monkey, which came out earlier this year, after the Wolfman, and see my review to watching Predator Killer of Killers, or what I refer to as Filler of Killers. So I am on my way to the theater. I will be back to do my response. I always do a reaction video in addition to these precautions. So be on the lookout for my Weapons Aftershock. That'll be my reaction video straight from the theater. I'm on my way there now. I will give my thoughts. I will keep them spoiler free upon my return. And in the meantime, if you guys are interested, by all means, check out the other videos on my channel. But I very much am anticipatory for this one. And man, does horror need a win? For as far as I'm concerned, the only good movies that have come out are Clown in a Cornfield and 28 Years Later. So here's hoping that Weapons gets to be the third home run this year. I've been Inkarnate, and again, feel free to come back and check out my reaction video, the Weapons Aftershock, which will be in about 2 hours or so. I'll head back right from the theater, boot up the laptop, and I will be right back with my thoughts on what my impressions were of Weapons. So I will see you.